To me, it goes back to the construction of the pitching staff and my anger at the trade deadline. It all came boiling back up last night, today, and beyond. And think about it. You, the angry fan, I know you might be angry at Craig Counsell, and that's cool. That's the manager's job, is to wear that anger. But the curious fan goes a little deeper and thinks about this. You're begging for your manager to choose Colin Ray. You're begging for your manager to choose Javier Assad.
That's why I couldn't do it. That's why I was like, Shota is the move.
Matt Boyd on 3 days is the move. Because you're begging for him to choose contact options who are great depth pieces to help you get through a season. That's what those guys are. It's about the loss of Cade Horton, and it's about the failures of a trade deadline. The absolute failures of a trade deadline to add swing and miss dominance to a staff that does not have it. And they survived that weak trade deadline in the regular season because of depth and because of defense, and frankly, because nobody jumped up and took their spot from them. Lawrence, let's be honest. The Mets faded in full. The Reds got lucky to get in.
The Padres got close, and then the last weekend, they were like, we'll just go to Chicago.
They survive. They survive in the regular season, but come the playoffs, it's a different game, man. Look around this league in the postseason. Swing and miss weaponry on pitching staffs is everywhere, and you don't really have it. You just don't have it. And it shows up on both your offense, which only gets 3 runs a game, whether you need more or not, and on your pitching, which doesn't get strikeouts when you got to get strikeouts. You just don't have enough. And I know that Pat Murphy, he won the chess battle with Craig Counsell, but look at the pieces he had to use. Look at Jacob Mizorowski coming in and throwing 103.
Yeah, that was hilarious
with sliders or cutters, whatever you want to call it, at what, 97, 96?
Yeah, he's freezing guys at the plate, and they're like, wait, what was that?
Uh-huh. So, yeah, look at his opener. Ashby's throwing 99, 98. It's like he has better weaponry. Frankly, every pitching staff in the postseason right now does.
Okay, so this goes back to something that I've said for the last couple of years. That right there, that statement that you made, that Pat Murphy has better weaponry than Craig Counsell, is an indictment. It's an indictment on the Cubs as an organization, because you're supposed to be bullying these hoes, and you're supposed to have been bullying them for a long time, and you're not. And fine, if your roster going into the season, I would say is fairly solid, but then there was an opportunity for you.
Everybody knew what you needed. Lawrence, everybody knew what you needed, and we talked about it, and we were furious, and all that fury came back up.
Being right about this one. And I think that we're not alone. Like, it's not us on an island.
No.
And if we're on an island, we're on an island with every bleeping Cub fan that was sitting there at the trade deadline going, wait, y'all ain't gonna do nothing? Like, y'all just gonna sit here? Like, Soroka is your move? That's your move? That's the big move that you're going to make when you have a team that is in a great position to be a playoff team?
Hey, man, due respect to Andrew Kittredge, who's a very nice part of your bullpen and has stepped up. But the other bullpen guy you got, Taylor Rogers, he isn't even on your roster.
Yeah.
He's not even on your playoff roster.
And the idea of, and then you match that with the ridiculous statement from Carter about the idea that you're looking ahead to 2032.
Offensive.
It's absolutely offensive.
Because in the postseason, Lawrence, look at these teams just throwing out dude after dude after dude. And if you don't have dudes, you go out and get them. And if you got dudes in the minors, you bring them up. You fast track them so they can be your weapons in the postseason.
What I don't understand is why the offseason and the in-season don't match. Here's what I mean. In the offseason, the Cubs make a move that is aggressive. Trading away Cam Smith, who most people think is going to turn out to be a pretty good pro, and he was up and down, but he at least hit home runs for the Astros this year.
Yeah, man.
And you get Kyle Tucker, and you kind of know that it's for 1 year.
And we'll flesh that out more, but it is clear that it was a go-for-it move in your lame duck president of operations season.
So why doesn't the trade deadline match the offseason, where if you are in a go-for-it mode, if you're being aggressive the way that the Cubs were being aggressive, Why didn't it match? And look, I know that this show is on October 7th. If you rewind the tape,
you'll hear
at the trade deadline, we were talking about it, and so were you.
We talked about it in real time. Frankly,
we talked about it leading up to the trade deadline.
You know when we talked about it in real time? We broke it down when Jed Hoyer's contract extension got announced.
Yeah.
And I struggled with how to frame it and how to think about it. And then I've been comfortably blurting it out that man sold his aggression. That man sold his aggression. On the day he signed that, he sold his aggression.
I don't want to go that far.
I have to.
I think that they are coincidental.
Dude, but you just said it. You trade for Kyle Tucker. You are aggressive with your bullpen roster churn and your role churn, and then all of a sudden at the deadline, you don't finish the job.
No, I'm with you. I don't know if I want to put it on Jed getting the contract extension, because that would make me think bad things about Jed, especially when at that point the rabbit had the gun.
Well, maybe that's too clever, or too using the verbiage to try and poke the knife and be provocative. How about this?
I get why I'm just not willing to go that far with you. Because I get it.
What he did is he extended the partnership. And all of a sudden, 2032 is something you care about. AJ Preller is not out here caring about 2032.
I can't.
He's not out here. Dave Dombrowski is not out here caring about 2027, now, let alone 2026.
Carter walked that back on a subsequent interview here on The Score. He walked it back. But
it left a mark.
Of course it does, Speaks, because it lets you know how they were thinking at the time. At the time when it looked like the Cubs needed to do something, they didn't. And they wrapped it in, well, we're the stewards of the baseball team. We have to make sure that the baseball team is going to be good years from now.
And I get it. Like, I don't know if you saw, Buster Olney just tweeted something about Hank Steinbrenner the other day, that George was championship or bust. Anything but a World Series is a failure. Hank's definition of success is more nuanced. Yankee fans lost their mind at that. But this is the truth, is that it sometimes through variance and postseason randomness, the teams you don't expect to win do not win. They chose that. They opted for that. And at a certain point, they're like, let's go ahead and bank on the variance and our $40 million manager. And that's just not really giving your $40 million manager everything that he needs.
What I hate about it for the Cubs organizationally is that you saw this team pass you in the regular season, and now you're seeing them outclass you in the postseason. And you go, look how far you have to go to be competitive with them. Now, you won the season series. That's great. You won that 3 out of those 5 games that were played in August with the Brewers. But you've seen them for the 2 years that Craig has been here, they've still been the better team.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to throw this onto Craig's lawn. All I'm saying is that organizationally, you continue to let the Brewers be better than you. And you've got to figure out why that keeps happening and what it is you need to do to be more competitive.
I completely agree.